Hello, wonderful Sagittarians. Welcome to your June creative forecast. A lot is happening this month. On June 4th, we have the Saturn retrograde kicking off. A good time to let the energies kind of flow through and give us indications and hints of what we could be letting go of. And it just this energy is not. I wouldn't recommend doing this like effort filled deep dive. I think things will come up that will give us pause and an opportunity to reflect on themes consistent with Saturn retrogrades, which is, what are the systems and structures, traditions, rituals, even ceremonial celebrations that we've relied on to template our lives, and looking at how we can pull back from them. Some questions that you might ask at that time is like, what are, I had them written down, but some of the questions could be, what is this system? What purpose is this system or belief or structure or template serving? And where did I inherit it from? Is this something that's consistent for me still? Is this something that I believe in still? Looking at these really these core beliefs and examining why we do the things we do in the constructs of templates and just tradition, right? So small opportunities to reflect there, probably with different world events and things that are really important to us, placed within the further context of the Taurus Scorpio eclipses happening this year. And then also on June 14th, we also have then the full moon in Sagittarius, so your sign. So this could be a time where you'll feel the energy of that a little bit more intensely. Now, in keeping with the Saturn retrograde, it will probably be, you'll see an expansion of a bit more optimism and perhaps hope, but also just that Jupiter expansive energy, focusing on the things that are important to us and looking at the big picture, so that we can really move forward. This is like a little bit of beautiful, a breath, like a breath of fresh momentum in terms of the retrograde energy. So you might find it very invigorating, but it could also be, it just depends on how you've been working with your own energy, right? So from there, we also have the Neptune retrograde on the 28th, which is a great time to look into the illusions that we hold about ourselves and our lives and the things happening around us. And also, just ideas of redemption. Neptune is often looked at as the redeemer planet, right? And the place that it sits in our chart, it's more of a generational planet, but it's also subconscious themes and illusions too. So let's not forget that. But I'm getting messages from this about, placed in context with the Saturn retrograde and the full moon in Sagittarius, these questions of, what systems are we relying on to save us, and what organizations or structures or templates are we looking to create that sense of, salvation from, being placed in. So these bigger questions, and these are generational planets, right? So Neptune, Uranus onwards, they are more generational. So you might find that things that you have inherited or were unconscious about or not thinking about, like I think about this in terms of monogamy. Like a lot of folks just assume monogamy to be the default and that's how it should be, but it's really not the case, and it's just something that's more common, right? Because we don't question that a lot of the time. So it's you might find yourself delving into things like that, like conscious monogamy, or if you are someone for whom polyamory resonates, you choose that, right? So it's like it's questioning these long held templates and what purpose they serve. So there's that. And then when I came to looking at the energy specifically, I'll try and make this succinct because I know I've kind of rambled on a bit here, but when I was reflecting on the energies for all the signs, I got this beautiful photosynthetic dreaming. So we're kind of dreaming ourselves to life, and the different processes by which we alchemize raw materials of sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and turn it into a kind of tender sweetness within us, sugar. Plants produce glucose from that, right? So, and also oxygen. So that's sort of how we're bringing life to the collective through these alchemical processes within us. So that was the energy there. And then for you, Sagittarius specifically, I had this beautiful meditation about tree rings and auric layers. So, so if you have let's say this is the middle of a tree, right? So the rings around it will be like this here. This is called this is called heartwood. This is the part of the tree that hardens and kind of it's not, I mean, it is in a way, it's dead, but it still nourishes, and it starts to act like the spine of a tree. So if you cut a tree in half, you'll see these outer lighter rings, which is the sapwood. That's the still very much alive part of the tree that's bringing nutrients and moisture up to the leaves from the roots. And it's also where a lot of the life-giving processes take place in the tree. So you'll see these tree rings occur within, and I almost got the image of like the heartwood representing auric fields and layers, the ones closest to you, so the like closest to your body, so those being the more physical auric layers in terms of mental, emotional, etheric, physical bodies, as being connected to heartwood, showing up as like a spine through which we make decisions and all of that, and this tending that we're doing to it and we're doing for it. So the differences in this, and just this balance between. So it's almost like the structural support. So tending to and really cultivating this structural support with the heartwood, and then the ring around that. So the one around this would be, this is my proverbial wood, but this would be the sapwood around it. It's typically much lighter, and that's where you get this rich scent when trees are cut. It comes from the sapwood, because that's where you see that's where the moisture runs through. And they work in concert with one another. But young trees are almost all sapwood. They are, and that's how you know as well how old a tree is, because the younger it is and the less thick it is. If it's not as thick and it has more sapwood, you know that it's a very young tree. But if it's larger, and then you see a cross section of that tree because it's been felled or if someone has cut it down, you'll see the deadwood in the middle. But deadwood is a misnomer, or sorry, heartwood is. It's the heart of the tree that holds the thing up, right? That acts as a strength and a point of strength. So it's almost like the sapwood is this energetic support. And I feel like there's a way that there's like fast growth happening for you right now, Sagittarius. And I get the impression what I saw was this sort of transition between heartwood and sapwood. Like there's some way that they're speaking to one another, and there's some transition that's happening in your life right now. So longest preamble ever, but the image was so very interesting, and I was very grateful to Spirit to give me that. So I wanted to pass that on to you. So we're going to dive in here. We're going to dive in. So I would like to invite the angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. And as you can tell, my assistant's friggin' sleeping on the job over here. She had a very busy morning, chasing birds, watching cat TV. So now she's all tuckered out, but she was trying to sit on here. So I wanted to make sure that she could still be close to me. But yeah, my darling child. Okay. Eyes on the prize. Trust the guidance of your North Star. This could also be North Node related, but trust the guidance of your North Star. And I think this is also decisions with the retrogrades about what you want your North Star to be, right? Is this a reassessment of your North Star and that energy? Ooh, I like this one. The quest, plunge boldly into life. This could be full moon related energy, but this is just super, I get a lot of sensuality off of this card, sacral chakra related for sure. It's like just this, it's like you're letting yourself, your whole self feel the warmth of the sun right now. And whatever the sun means to you, right? That could mean the actual sun. That could mean anything really that brings you joy, and not just the kind of joy that's like passing or that was a great day, but like the abiding joy that's like, I'm so excited to wake up every day because of this thing, like that kind of difference, right? And I'm using the Elemental Power Oracle, or Power Tarot, sorry. Oh, Knight of Pentacles showing up. So this is the Knight of Pentacles. It's showing up in the grounding position. So it's like we're grounding some fiery energy here. Now in this deck, I love it because it integrates elements all the way through, obviously Elemental Powered Tarot. But this is, the Knights are fire elements. So elementally speaking, the Knights are fire of whatever suit they're in. And this is fire of earth. So I get this passionate energy that's being grounded, and that's the grounding position. So energy that we're grounding right now. And I get that is an energy that you're grounding and really bringing a sense of like tangibility to it. It is to making something real. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Oh my goodness. What happened here? My deck just like flipped inside out and sideways. Oh my goodness. Okay. Four of Pentacles is what we're growing. I feel like this really... I'm feeling like this whole deck is like jumpy. What's going on here? Okay. I was thinking on the Four of Pentacles about a sense of self-worth, but what I saw instead of just self-worth was like this beautiful expansion of your energy from a place of worthiness. Like it's like the light expanding from your heart space and then encompassing. Yeah. Now I'm hearing fiber optics. Two of Cups. The light expanding from your heart space and the Two of Cups showing up. Interesting. And the Three of Wands on what it is that this is like the oxygen. This is what we're growing into and this is our sweetness, the way that things manifest. And I think it's this process and this time, they're giving you a really lovely positive outlook, but I think it's there first. So the Two of Cups is showing up in the block, and I almost get that there's like a disbelief or I don't know. Let's see where Spirit takes us with this. Okay, because I know that there's a lot of things that I'm getting off of this intuitively speaking, but I want the cards to do some talking too, because I feel like I've done a lot of talking, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Sagittarians? That's who you are now. You're not Sagittarius. Eight of Cups on the Knight of Pentacles. I'm getting the vibe that you're like leaving behind this disconnect, right? Like there's like a disconnect that you're leaving behind. And it's just like a discord, like it's like, maybe that's why the cards were so like, bleh. I'm just trying to hold on. That's a technical sound, by the way. Yes, it is. But I felt like there's like a way that it's just not like, something felt clunky, like it was just a belief that you outgrew is what I'm getting. Yeah, there was like a belief that you outgrew, and it's like you don't have to act. So Spirit is like, just be cool. Be cool, Sag. It's fine. It can just go. Like beliefs that don't work, you can just be like off with like that. If you're feeling particularly Shakespearean that day, that is. Or Middle English. Anyways. Oh my goodness. King of Pentacles. Yeah, this is like... This is a beautiful progression because you're going from the Knight of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles after a leaving behind of this kind of like in-between energy. And the Seven of Swords can represent like thievery in general, but this also represents a bit of like self-betrayal too. Like, having to be really resourceful in hostile environments possibly, but also hostile environments can mean like relationships and friendships and business partnerships and things like that have been hostile. So it could be in that context. This is also, an invitation to be more sincere about what's important to you and to show up in the King of Pentacles energy unashamedly and without really like with no pretense and just saying, this is who I am, right? I'm often like that with my queerness and being trans. Like I just do it because it's like, any organization that I've been in, that's how I am. And then like all of the queers find me. And it's like, it's great because it's just, you show up authentically, but there's some way, like there's a belief that you were like, no. And it's like this purification process. You're just burning it off. But there's a lot of grounded energy here, which I like. And then we're ending on a fire note, which is you, right? So that's like you ending on your ending on and within your element. And I see this as very fire centric as well. So Sag, we got this. But I think there's a need to maintain a focus on what is most important to you with your eyes on the prize here. Not in terms of goal-oriented, though, like my Sag and Venus, I totally understand. My friend's in Aries, and she often jokes that when we hung out for a while there, it was like, she was like, oh, I knew that I needed to have a goal. She's like, I know you'd show up at 8 o'clock in the morning with a smile on your face and all this stuff, but she's like, but it has to be goal-oriented. And this is a departure from that, right? It's a departure from the goal-oriented way. It's like more of a being energy. And I think it's just a sort of reinvestment based on, reinvestment. I love this. Oh, Spirit's so good, generally speaking, but like when it happens like this, it's excellent. This 5 of Cups here is like disappointment, but I feel like this is what is sort of helping you to see the forest for the trees, I'm hearing, but this is what's helping you to see the investment that you need to make and that you really do want to make in the end. But it's just a sort of a shift, like it's reinvesting in something, but not like from the past. It's nothing like that. It's just sort of shifting your energy, and then it tips the balance more towards this long-term investment because it makes it possible for it to show up, right? Because if you're not showing up in a King of Pentacles, it's difficult for the 10 of Pentacles to find you because it's not like it, if you're not looking. So I liken this to dating from a couple years ago. If I was not like, I would ask people when I was dating them, I'm like, are you looking for something that is just dating and fun? Or are you looking for something that might become long-term? Doesn't mean that it has to be that way, but there's like a compatibility thing happening there, right? Like if you're interested in something that could become long-term, great. We're not going to jump to that point, but I just want to make sure, like, it's like that sort of investment, right? Like that's the King of Pentacles in that energy. And then you're pulling in 10 of Pentacles based on that. And it's not over analyzing things. It's not reading into things, and you don't want to rush things because there's something so juicy and sweet. There's something so good about exploring someone and being curious about them and getting to know them. That process is so important because it's like where delight and surprise comes from. Where like someone does something and you burst out laughing because you're like, oh, that's actually ridiculous, but they're adorable in that, or like they're funny, or all these different things that make up the ways that we cherish people. And especially I'm thinking, I don't know why relationship is coming out, like 2 of Cups that's why I was like, what? But the 2 of Cups here. So I think this creative energy could have to do with relationship romantically. If you're not looking for that, it could also have to do with the ways that we engage with people and feeling like we have to be immediately understanding their entire like CV to work with them, or you know what I mean? Like it's and that's not to say like for jobs that you do need that you do need that like resume and CV, you need all of that, right? But I think it's about something deeper. It's about something slightly deeper. My cat is snoring and I don't know if you can hear it, but I would love to know what she dreams about. Four of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands, Knight of Wands, High Priestess, Wheel, Wowza, 2 of Cups. Okay, so this has been happening in readings a lot where it's like we'll get the tail end of the story. So it's like this is the story of the block. So it's just as a heads up. And also I apologize for the glare. I don't want to close the curtains because she's here and that's just how life is now. If you have pets, that's just what happens. When they land somewhere and they're sleeping, they're just there. But to this point, I feel like it's like you're waiting. There's a little bit of like I don't want to say like low vibe, but there's a little bit of like a energy in your justification for why you're waiting for the 4 of Wands. Because the Knight of Wands is showing up here. So I'm getting that there's someone that was like in and out in your life that kind of cemented this idea that the Four of Pentacles has to be held onto very tightly, lest you be placed in this Five of Pentacles position in your desire for or in search of what you wanted was stability. And stability doesn't necessarily mean, like I said, it's not like leaping into the end result right away. It's not about that, because that can feel really restrictive, and it's just like, ugh, it feels like an anaconda, like it just, sorry about the pop in your wonderful ears, I apologize, but like that's what it can feel like, right? And like as an Aquarian, yeah, I totally get that. But it's like there's some kind of stability that you were searching for. And it could just be consistency. Like being on the same page is such a luxury, because it's someone that just gets you. Like you don't, it's that feeling of like, and even at work, like, I have a friend at work right now who is amazing and we get along so well. And it's just like, there are certain things I don't have to explain. Like something will happen and I look at her and she looks at me and I'm like, oh my God. And we know, right? It's that kind of like, that kind of energy exchange that allows for so much of you to be seen, that you can share in and exchange. It's like it transmutes things because it lends a sort of playful friskiness because you've been seen by somebody who gets you. Like it's that kind of vibe. But I feel like in the other side of this story here, that's sort of the preamble to why this Two of Cups is a block here. That's where the block comes from, I think. But then, finishing that off, we have the overcoming of that. And this is the High Priestess, the Wheel, and then the Two of Cups. So it's almost like, I'm hearing ready or not, but like the wheel is turning, and I think your intuitively you get this, but I think this is both an expansion of your intuition, and that's what this situation, whatever this kind of aside was, gave you. And it could be ways that you've held back on your energy or held back on specific things. Like Sagittarians, I don't know a single Sagittarius that's like, I'm going to hold back on that. That's really not your wheelhouse. Your wheelhouse is to be like all in. So, this is the energy that I'm picking up on ever so slightly, in that it was like a holding back, because it was, either like you were embodying a Knight of Wands in reverse, where you weren't really taking on the world or taking charge, or, like, being in the energy of what fires you up, or it was someone had been really like, there was like a bit of like someone wanting like I'm seeing a workplace where like someone wanted recognition but didn't want to put in the work. Like things take time a lot of the time, and there's like a slow investment in anything that's meaningful, right? Even with this channel, like it's okay to be tired and to rest and refill your cup, but there's still like a long steadiness to anything that is really important to you. So that's something to really keep in mind here as well, right? That's really important. 2-2-2-2 on the time. And I feel like that's where this Knight of Wands energy was sort of I'm almost seeing like the fulcrum around which something moved. So I'm thinking that has to do, I'm seeing it as a person that you encountered, or an energy, either at work or on projects or in relationships or in dating, that kind of thing. That really put this Two of Cups and the belief in something being equal showing up in question. Like it just kind of cast it in question. But this is the healing energy that's showing up at the end of this particular clarifying row here, where this is like what we're growing. You're cultivating. This is true growth energy. The Wheel of Fortune is expansion. So you're expanding into your intuition. And I think that's helping you to understand what Two of Cups resonate, to help you understand not just the general resonance of the Two of Cups, but I think it's like the resonance of the Two of Cups that you want. How about that, right? The one that you want. Yeah. And Jupiter is, rules the 9th house with you. And I think that this is like, it could be like a core belief that was shifting, or just something that was addressed about stability, right? Yeah. Temperance, Sagittarian energy here. So your energies, you are showing up in like, and this is where it's like you're showing up in a grounded power for yourself. And then we have the Moon here too. And so the Two of Cups here, I'm seeing this like, it reminds me of the rings on a tree right here. And I think that we're getting to the core of something here that will transpire or evolve in June for you, my wonderful Sages. Which is like, I almost feel like there's like, usually the dead wood would be in the middle here. And it's like, you're developing that sense of long-term establishment of the tree that you are, right? This like this support for yourself. And it does take time for the heartwood to develop, and the colors are because of tannin. So when you see, you'll see like wood grain or wood made objects, and you'll see the shifts in color in them, the flecks of color changing. So you'll see really dark, and then you'll see light, and then dark. That's the deadwood and the sapwood difference in the tree. Deadwood, I say deadwood because it's dead, but it's the heart of the tree, heartwood. The heartwood in the middle is what makes up the backbone of the tree, and that is also indicative of its resistance and resilience. That makes the tree resilient to fungi and insects and pests. It's like a structural support. So if there's an intense wind, that helps the tree to not snap and be uprooted, right? So there's almost this heartwood that you're cultivating within, which is very, I think, aligned with this. It's like a heart space cultivation. And I think that this, like the heartwood is like this, the physical auric layers that are starting to develop for you. If not develop, it's not like starting to develop, but there's a different way that they're interacting with something. There's a different way that they're interacting with something. It could be as this like 10 of Pentacles energy. It could be as it comes closer. There's a part of you, this like that energetically is responding, and the sapwood to heartwood ratio is shifting internally. And it's doing it because it's like accommodating the coming forward of this Two of Cups energy, be it through a project or a person or some kind of work or depth in a long-term existing relationship. It could be a depth that you're going to, and it's like your energy is like opening up and rearranging these core parts of what seems so fixed, and they're expanding what you need to expand. So it's like you can feel this process happening. And I think your only task right now is just to plunge boldly into that, and that this is like a sensuality card, but this could be how that energy is unlocked for you, or it could have to do with that auric layer, right? Emotional and mental, well, maybe physical and emotional auric layers, and the ways that energy moves and flows within that for you. This is so fascinating, Sag. Did I mention I was grateful for your energy here? Because if not, I am. Spirit, what messages do you have for Sagittarius for this June creative forecast? Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm seeing like a mitochondria cross section. So it could be that you're like in kind of a powerhouse mode in June. And that whatever this process is, it's like an acclamation of, and I'm hearing foretelling of things to come. Foretelling. Page of Wands. Seven of Cups, the Star, the Lovers, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. Oh my God. Okay, Sagittarius. I know this is very you, but this is really no, I'm kidding. It's good. I'm being dramatic. But so the Page of, oh my gosh. So we have the Page of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Star. This is like a healing of confusion. So if there was confusion and that was the block here, I feel like this is really just disappearing for you, because you could have Aquarius somewhere in your chart as well. That's Aquarian energy. It could also be that there's like, I don't even know, there's like a light that you're shining, but it's like a light that's shining. This I think of in terms of a light shining, right? And this Seven of Cups, I'm smiling so huge because this energy feels like a rush. Like it just feels giddy. Your energy feels very giddy right now, Sagittarius, which is great. This is beautiful. But yeah, it's like this deep healing of confusion that you might have felt about what you had to offer or what others offer you with this Page of Wands. It could also just be healing confusion about what you wanted, right? It could be that you're deciding what you want. And that's where the block in the Two of Cups came from, because the Two of Cups can be as Two of Cups as the Two of Cups is going to Two of Cups. We're going to leave it. But, right, it can be all of those things, but unless we decide, and this is the Lovers, so Mercury energy, Mercury and Gemini, so it's the choice, the traditional tarot, in the traditional tarot, it's the choice card. So this is like you choosing, you making a choice, and I think this is the decision. You're choosing your truth, and you're planting the seeds for a long-term investment here. So I feel like not only is your energy responding, but then in the 3D, you start to do things like articulating truths and allowing the universe to offer you things. And this, I love the directional flow here as well, because they're both in the same direction. Sometimes they show up like this, or like, it'll be like showing up in two different directions. No matter which way I flip it, it's still the same. Oh my goodness. But it's like, it's going in the same direction, and it's where your truth is meeting with the investment that you want to make in a project or in a relationship of some kind. So I think this is a time of deep truth telling for yourself, and that is what's allowing this photosynthetic dreaming to transform into a really positive outcome. I feel like I'm really excited to see where this takes us here, but I feel like this deeply positive, inspiring outcome. So we have the Three of Wands and the Moon, Knight of Cups, Three of Swords, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, the Sun. Oh my gosh, that was so dramatic. Sagittarius, I went there with you. So I like to, we're starting with like offers that you can't really see, that are hidden. Like this is, projects, people, emotions. All that stuff is like hidden from you, and it's starting to come forward. And I think that when it does, it might throw you into a little bit of like a woo moment where you're like, oh my God, 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 internally, right? Because it's like you're letting the past inform future action, but I do feel that you eventually you let go of it. This is like this is giving yourself closure. I think this is giving yourself closure, and this is really radically accepting what you want to come, and understanding that you first have to take the Ace of Swords and like prioritize that instead of all of these others, right? I'm hearing the sound of the swords falling like they were on a wall. It was really loud. Yeah. So it's like this process of letting go and like really shedding skin, and then the Sun comes out, right? And I love that we have this, like, you may have Scorpio in your chart as well, because in the Scorpio reading, it was like this dance, this beautiful dance that came to mind between moonrise and sunset, and this moonlight and sunlight, the dance between them and the ways that they give life in between. And it's really indicative here of this beautiful transformation that's taking place in your heart space, and then that becomes manifest in this wonderful positive outcome. So I think that in terms of riding the creative energies for you for June, my wonderful Sagittarius, I think that what's going to be most important is for you to ground the emotions that you might feel around if there's like uncertainty, or you're like, ooh, you just feel like for example, I was chewing an apple once while I was driving. I think I've told this story before, but it still makes me laugh. But I was chewing an apple while driving, and I sneezed. So as you can imagine, my windshield looked ridiculous. And because I was driving, it was on the inside, so I couldn't like turn the windshield wipers on to get the apple off of the windshield because it went everywhere, right? So it's like that feeling, like, it's coming, that you're chewing, you have the apple in your mouth and you're like, whoa, but then you don't sneeze. Like it's like a pattern interrupt. Like it doesn't happen. So it's like remembering to ground that feeling, like that feeling, and then allowing what is to come to you and meet you on the path. But if you're in that sort of tension rising moment, right, that sort of build up to the climactic curtain call, anyways, the climactic call, it's like you need to ground that feeling, because it will tell you all of these reasons that you have not to do something, reasons that you have not to invest in something, reasons that you have not, can't, won't, shouldn't, don't, like all of the things. Like, Louise Hay says, don't shit on yourself. And I mean, I definitely agree. Don't do that. But that kind of energy, right? It's like we take away, and then we subtly try to prove ourselves right or wrong. So it's this occupation of our energy and use of our energy in the world that makes it so that we can't just be in relation to others. We're proving ourselves right or proving things wrong, or, it's like this weird relationship that we can get into with the past. So I think it's just about being mindful of that with anything that you start, once the Mercury retrograde comes to a conclusion, right? If you have already been starting things, amazing. I applaud that. I applaud you for that. But yeah, so it's like getting into a better relationship with the past here a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, I think it's okay to feel worried or things like that. Like, we're human, right? We're not, we have those moments. I think it's just about communicating effectively through it, and understanding that sometimes, yeah, sometimes we just gotta leap. I see no cards here that would say, like, don't do it, right? Like, it's because you have a lot of major arcana here too. So I think this is something that is related not just to the ways that things show up every day, like everyday beliefs and everyday run-of-the-mill things. I do think that this is a fundamental transformation, like the maturation of a tree going from, it really is indicative of the heartwood and the sapwood in it. There was a tree that was recently cut down when I was on a hike this week, and I was just fascinated. The sapwood smells so rich. It smells very rich. Like, most people would be like, what are you doing? Like, if they found me on the trail, here I am with my nose like right up to the tree, sniffing the sapwood, and like, but it's like, it has such a rich scent to it, because it carries all the nutrients. And when you shift these fundamental parts of you, it's almost like a restructuring of auric layers in a way, because as your energy matures and as you mature, that acclimates to accommodate the shifts that are taking place in your templating, as well as your, I'm hearing template body, but it's like there's a whole way that this feels like it's shifting for you, Sagittarius. I'm going to pull from the Hedge Witch's Botanical Oracle. Whoa. It's so easy to shuffle large decks. Then when you give me the little ones, I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. Okay. There we go. I figured it out. Courage. Oh, borage. Okay. Borage, barrage, whichever one it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's often called starflower. That's nice. Little Aquarius in there. Because of the blossoms, which have 5 pointed petals. Pentacles on the brain, I guess. I don't know. The flowers are usually blue, though pink and white varieties also exist. It spreads prolifically and has long flowering seasons. You can find them in June through September. In milder climates, it will bloom all year. Oops, let me see this here. There we go. Courage is the oracle property that corresponds most strongly to the borage plant. It's legendary for its spirit-lifting and courage-inducing properties. Celtic warriors drank wine flavored with borage to give them courage in battle, and the leaves and flowers were eaten by Roman soldiers before they went off to fight. Medieval knights wore scarves embroidered with floral patterns for the same reason. For a courage charm, tuck a borage blossom in your pocket before any stressful situation, or drink a tea or glass of wine flavored with borage leaves. Drinking this tea is said to increase psychic powers and relieve symptoms of depression. Many of the most noted herbalists throughout history have considered it a very effective antidepressant for the feeling of elation it induces. Place the fresh blossoms on an altar to bring luck and power to your spells. Sprinkle crushed dried leaves around the workplace for inspiration and business expansion. Because of its connections to Jupiter, holy crap, the wheel. Okay, sorry. It's been happening where I'm like, oh, thanks, Spirit. Because of its connections to Jupiter, this herb is also associated with the Hierophant in the tarot deck. We'll say the wheel as well. But yeah. That's wonderful. Courage, my friends, courage. That's where it's like this transformation of courage. And there's something, it's like I do feel this like shift in your energy body. It's beautiful though. It makes it, I don't know, like I'm seeing like if someone forgive me for this visual, but it's like if someone hits a really firm jello like just like spiritedly nudges it, and like the whole thing just like shakes. It's like that's what's happening to your auric fields, because this belief has been like spit out of it, and so the whole thing is just like realigning. I don't even know. Sagittarius, I don't know. I don't know any other tarot readers that will tell you about that they visualize things like slapping jello. I don't know. Like, but I get this image of like the body itself is firm, like it's solid, but there's like a belief or two that's just being like spit out, and then it's recalibrating the whole thing. Did I mention that my spirit guides are Pixar characters? Anyways, abundance. I gather easily and effortlessly all that I need to support, nourish, and comfort me. I focus my attention upon all that I am grateful for. There is an abundance of nourishment, support, and love for me. I have. Sensuality. Ooh, Scorpio got that too. I love this card so much. I'm going to read it to you. Okay. Sensuality and pleasure are my birthright, to be experienced with blissful joy. I honor and embrace my sexuality, recognizing the sacred sexual connection with myself and the intimate partner or partners of my choice. It is safe for me to be sensual and sexual and be respected for this. Pleasure and enjoyment are good, clean, and healthy. I experience pleasure. Woo, got chills on that one. But I feel like it's like I don't know, there's this beautiful transformation, and I felt the sensuality on this one. Like, you can't look at that and tell me that there's no, like, that's just so good. And it could be, again, there could be something around a Sagittarius full moon ritual that you might want to do or embody. What it is to build around that will probably become more obvious to you around the time, but just observing your energy and being set far back enough and detached enough to see it, while also still knowing that it's part of you, is going to be part of that. But I feel like this is going to be a beautiful expansion of these energy bodies that you have within you, and the ways that they're shifting slightly. I'm just looking at my cat and her little paw covering her eye. Like, this is just too much for her. I think it was this row. It was a lot, Sagittarius, but like, I would expect nothing less from your energy. So, okay. I trust that my gut reaction is the truth underneath the surface of my fears. Yeah. Oh, I felt that in my solar plexus. Maybe there's some work that you're doing with that. In the midst of a meltdown, I breathe through the discomfort and come out the other side. I see this as less of a meltdown and just more of anxiety, like that 9 of Swords that's here, right? This 9 of Swords. And I think that, so I breathe through the discomfort and come out the other side. And I think that's sort of the sun coming out. And I'm seeing the sun come out through clouds, like clouds moving through the sky, and then it just like parts. And then out of this random streak of luck, you're out, and like the clouds part, and then you see that the clouds have parted for what will last for what looks like an hour. Like, it's just this straight line of blue sky. Something like that. But Sagittarius, that was your reading. That's your June creative forecast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate this and your time and your eyes and your energy. It's always fun. Sagittarian energy is a blast and a half. That's because you're Sagittarius. Anyways, if this resonated, please like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel, and I'm very grateful for all those who joined, so thank you so much. And there are other ways you can connect through different videos on the channel, so please feel free to check those out. But Sagittarius, if this is where we part, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, that it finds you very, very well. Take care, my friends, and have a wonderful June.